So Cersei Moby asks, how were you able to predict the Mt. Gox collapse before it happened?
Oh, well, the reason why I predicted that was because of several factors. One, there was definitely a lot of money being bled out from the Mt. Gox. They'd frozen several different key accounts that they had, the U.S. government, and so they were losing millions of dollars there, millions of dollars, and in every single location, they lost like 5 million here, 2 million there, 3 million here, because of government regulation, and so it didn't look good. And then on top of that, you can see as you use the system, it was very sludgy. You can see that they had lots of problems. They were also they lost money because of the Bitcoin's malleability. What's it called? Your transactions in the past, right? When you're using the past protocol, was malleable. What that means is that if I broadcast a transaction, right, someone else could pick up that transaction, change it, and rebroadcast it. And you're like, what? Well, they wouldn't change the value of the transaction. They wouldn't be able to change how much money was involved in the transaction, but they would be able to change what the transaction ID, change it in such a way that the transaction ID was completely different. And it's still a transaction is valid, right? You still got your money. You still got everything got sent as you expected. But, right, if you were looking for your transaction ID that you received when you did send the money, it wouldn't show up on the blockchain. And you'd be like, did I get did the money go, right? You're looking around, no, I guess it didn't go. I didn't send it. And so what would happen is that Mt. Gox, people would basically change their transactions, do a withdrawal from the Mt. Gox website, and then change the transaction, right? And then call them up and say, hey, I didn't receive my transaction. Here's my transaction ID that I was expecting, right? But then, meanwhile, they changed the transaction ID. Isn't that cruel, man, nasty? And then, obviously they lost the money because they would send it again. Ooh. Their staff would send it again. And so that kind of stuff was going on, and I was seeing it all happening. I thought, okay, they're not going to survive. You need to walk. Right? You need to walk. Right? So, yeah. And there was more to it than that, but the list was like huge that made me say, okay, you need to go right now. And the same with Cryptsy and all those. They had lots of indicating warnings that let you know that something was not right. Alrighty, next question. Oh, you know what? Before I go on to that, I did lose on. I wasn't always able to predict the ending of an exchange. I thought that one, Poloniex was next, but it didn't collapse. I was sort of shocked by that. And then, so I reduced my holdings there. And then also, I did not predict that what's it called, Cryptopia would collapse. I just did not see that coming. But at least the good thing is, when they came back up and running, I was withdrawing my money before they collapsed. When they collapsed, they shut down, and then they started back up again. I started withdrawing everything I had, and I just didn't get enough out. And so I lost about 40K in what's it called, in what's the Cryptopia. And hopefully, I heard that Cryptopia is like finally going to be giving back some of that money, so maybe I'll be able to get some of that back. So a lot of people are like concerned about that. That's a lot of money, but you know, at least it was in the tolerable 5%, less than 5% range.
Yeah. It's 40K, but it hurts anyways.
Yeah, it still hurts, but it was like, it wasn't that. I was like, yeah, it's less than 5%, so it's all right. it's all right. Okay, next question.
Next question. Owasi asks, if Bitcoin dives, how long do you think it will spend below 16K?
If Bitcoin dives, Not long. Probably less than a month. We will be below the less than a month or two. Well, I would say. Yeah, I would say anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks would be below 16K if we dive, right? So, and then we'll start our trajectory back up. Now, I think we'll be above the 20K sometime in the next 3 to 6 months, right? And so that would be the. So I don't know. I'm thinking, right, because my house takes forever to like. I've got one person who's interested in buying the house, and I'm not even sure if I want to sell it anymore because, it takes like 4 months to close, right, after the sale, after they even agree to sell. That 4 months, if you're lucky, if you fast track it, right, before I see the cash, and so. I'm thinking that Bitcoin will be well over 30K, maybe even 50K by the time I get the cash in my actual hands. And so, how much profit can I possibly gain by buying Bitcoin with with the house? What? Five, maybe a 5x? Definitely not a 10x, right? So. Is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it anymore to sell the house. Let me know what you guys think. Right? Message me inside one of the Telegram groups, whether Pandora's or what's it called? The DJ15 token group, and then let's discuss it. Right? Tell me what you think in the group. Say at DaVinciJ15. Don't forget to put that in when you comment about selling the house. Okay,